I'm Cari Peters, a recognized thought leader in the Microsoft Dynamics community and a Microsoft MVP for business applications. Welcome to the Get Your New View podcast. Keep listening to learn how we work with frustrated Business Central and NAV users who struggle to use their system and find the answers that they need. We teach them to truly understand how the system can support their business processes to make immediate and lasting improvements. As a result, they get more done in less time, make better business decisions, and even love their system.
Hey, Cari, need your help.
All right, I'll do what I can. No promises.
All right, so I'm at that point where I'm working with Susan, and I'm trying to show her what reports and what she can use to make her AR and AP reconciliation at month end easier.
Okay.
And I want to be able to say, okay, well, here's a report we recommend. Let's bookmark it and then show how to use it. And I got a little overwhelmed when I went and looked at all the reports. I brought up that receivables, payables report because I kind of thought that might be it. But no, that was just kind of listing balances of receivables and payables, which I thought was great, but wasn't what I was looking for. Can you help me?
I think I can. So I'll back up just one step before I answer Cynthia's question to kind of just say why it is that you should be reconciling your subledgers, as they're called, meaning don't just reconcile your bank account or cash, but also your accounts payable subledger, accounts receivable, fixed assets, inventory, all of those different things. If you reconcile them monthly to make sure that they match, you avoid maybe your auditor finding it at year end and wondering what's wrong. And when we say reconcile our subledgers, what we mean is take that report, so your listing of your inventory value, and compare that against the GL accounts that they are posting through to.
I just love it when your accounting nerd comes out.
I don't know what you're talking about. Cynthia will claim she's not an accountant, but I think she loves all this stuff just as much as me. So back to the question, which reports can we use? It really depends what it is that you're reconciling. So for accounts payable and accounts receivable, I always just use the basic aged accounts receivable report or aged accounts payable. And what I'll do is I'll run it without the detail because we're not looking to see what's overdue. We're looking for a total of what is outstanding for AP or AR.
Right.
So I'll just run that report. Doesn't really matter, if it's by transaction date or due date. We're not looking at any of that. We're just looking at that ending balance as of a certain date.
So that ending balance doesn't change based on whether I pick due date, transaction date, due date, document date, and transaction date.
Transaction date, yes.
Right. Okay. So the total doesn't change based on what I select there. And I think a lot of times people get confused by that. That's just helping determine what buckets, whether it goes in the 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, which again, you get to set those buckets when you run that report. So again, it doesn't matter what buckets you pick, 30 days, 60 days. It doesn't matter what date you pick. We're concentrating on the totals, right?
Right. And if you are listening to this right now and you're thinking, we have not been reconciling our subledgers, especially AP and AR, I'd recommend adding that to your monthly checklist because the longer you go with not noticing that you have a variance or multiple variances, the harder it's going to be to trace back where that came from. So if you're doing that on a monthly basis and your setup is correct, it should be a really easy reconciliation every month. I think for us, it takes me maybe like 2 minutes. It's just looking at that GL balance against the aging. Keep in mind that if you do have different customer posting groups, different vendor posting groups, things like that, you may have to run that aged accounts receivable or payables report by posting group to tie out to those individual GL accounts.
And that's because the posting groups are potentially pointing to different AR accounts. So you're trying to tie that balance on that report to that particular AR account.
Exactly.
Right?
Same thing with inventory, fixed assets.
Right. And that's the other reason you talked about, not waiting and finding out it's out of balance. That's why we're doing this right now, because when we went live, when we helped them go live, we confirmed that their aging report in their old system matched their GL balance in their old system. By the way, a lot of people have a problem with that. And thereby, when we went live, we ran it when we went live before we entered any new transactions, and we confirmed that the GL and the AR and the GL and the AP matched in Business Central. So if you haven't been reconciling your AP and AR monthly, and it's 12 months down the road, it's 13 months, it's 2 years, it's 6 months, it doesn't matter, and it doesn't balance, go back a month, run it for the month before, see if it balances. If it doesn't, go back a month, run it and see if it's been a few months and it's still not balancing and maybe it stays the same number, I go back to my go live and I make sure it balanced on go live, because a lot of QuickBooks users who come over to Business Central will find that they put in their beginning balances for their general ledger, i.e. the ending balances from their QuickBooks system. They put in their open AR and their open AP transactions. And if they would have reconciled at that point, they might find that they didn't match at that point, because I found a lot of QuickBooks users will have unreconciled AP and AR. Just an FYI.
And the system won't give you any warning. It's not going to say, oh my gosh, your subledger is out of balance with your GL account. It's not going to give you that. So it kind of is on you as the user to know that this is something you should be doing on a regular basis.
How do you, though, prevent? Okay, so one of the biggest causes, right, can be prevented if one or two of the biggest causes. So one of them is that it was wrong when you went live. Okay, and we can prevent that. What's another thing that causes it to go out of balance?
Cynthia, you and I think exactly the same, because I was just about to bring this up. You want to make sure that anything that's posting through a subledger has direct posting turned off in that GL account. So we don't want any transactions posting to that account directly unless it went through that subledger. And that means, for AR, picking the type of customer and letting it post through that customer posting group.
If it's a bank account kind of thing, you're posting to the bank account. You're selecting the bank account, not the cash account directly. So that comes into when you're going to reconcile your cash, right? That's where that comes into play.
Did I get that right, Cynthia? That's what you were thinking, right?
That is exactly what I was thinking.
I thought
this is kind of scary.
I know.
Okay.
Well, you know what?
Are you also thinking that we could talk about maybe in another podcast how to use like source codes and source types to help us find things that were direct posted?
I think that is a great idea, because we've worked a little bit together to try to troubleshoot why there are variances, and that is a really good tip. Yeah, so we'll do that in another video, but if you think that you want to listen to us for more than just 5 minutes, we have a lot more to share with you. Check us out on learndynamics.com for our on-demand training courses. Bye, everyone.
Did your team ever really get good training to understand how to use your business software? Do you think you could use more features of your software if you just knew how? Are you frustrated with inefficiency that never seems to get better? Do you suspect that there just has to be a better way, but you don't know what that is? We believe every company can benefit from increased efficiency and higher utilization of their software, and that it's possible to have fun while learning exactly how to do that. The experts at NewView Strategies work with frustrated Business Central and NAV users who struggle to use their system and find the answers they need. We teach them to truly understand how the system can support their business processes to make immediate and lasting improvements. As a result, they get more done in less time, make better decisions, and even love their system. Please contact us at getyournewview.com to get started.